leaking seeds, sowing harvest, reaping, man of meager means. I have yet to leave, I'm still breathing. To quit, I have no reason. I mean, I'm asleep, but I be trying to live my dreams. I cannot even act if it's all easy. Either you gon' do it or you don't. Really, it ain't no in between. Baby, you can ask the sun, it's an everyday thing. Consistency in your routine is how you bring reality. Working like a slave, that's how I made this masterpiece. Living like a god, I lay at night, I rest in peace. They remember me, but I am not Harama beef.
Hey.
Peace, peace. What's going on, brothers?
Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. What's going on?
Man, you know, Noble, long ago, another day in the land. Glad to be here. Glad to be here, man. We're gonna have a good conversation today. But before we get into the conversation, let me pull this little. Let me just get something ready. And while we're getting it ready, I know we got a couple more of our nobles coming in because we had a little technical difficulties. So excuses on that. That'll let you know that we are human. We're not no bots or no AI.
Indeed.
But man, even Noble Alonzo, when you sent me that clip, right? Even my Empress, she saw it. She like, okay, what? You know, like, huh? And that's what I tell even Moors to watch out for people just spilling things out like it's in this and it's in this case and in this case. And then the person that don't know have an eye to read nothing or just be like, ooh, yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna cut my camera on. I'm gonna play this little clip, and then we can talk about it. I'll play it again, and then we're gonna start talking about some things that we can talk about. And the floor is open for we can have a clear understanding. Now I don't know if y'all can see my phone. Well, y'all don't even need to see her face, you can just hear it. Hold on. They are also coming after. Hold on. Now remember the language. Remember the language. Now, and what she's talking about is some 14th Amendment stuff. Listen to the language. Babe. Oh, I'm sorry. Listen to the language. Listen to the language.
The 14th Amendment in ending birthright citizenship does not just affect recent immigrants to this country. It does not just affect first and second generation immigrants to this country. The 14th Amendment is the amendment that gave Black people citizenship and equal rights and equal protection under the law. The 14th Amendment is what makes the language of the Dred Scott decision null and void. And if you are confused about the language of the Dred Scott decision, the most important part to you as a Black person is that it states that a Black person has no rights that a white person is duty bound to respect. This is not just about immigrants. And you thinking it is proof positive that your ass is still fucking asleep.
Excuse their language.
They are also coming after Loving v. Virginia. And Loving v. Virginia is what made the one-drop rule unconstitutional. Loving v. Virginia is what made it unconstitutional for states to institute racial integrity codes. Oh. Once these two things are done away with, there is absolutely nothing stopping them from putting you in chains. Nothing. Wake it the fuck up.
Use her candle.
There's nothing stopping them from putting you in chains now.
She talk about Black people. The language is off. And then let's, like I say, brothers and sisters, let's look at something real fast, real quick. This stuff don't take no long time. Stuff don't take no long time. Somebody read me the Loving v versus Virginia. She said the Loving v versus Virginia. Really, she mean Loving versus Virginia. I'm sure. I'm sure, right?
Yes.
Loving versus
Okay.
Virginia.
I want people. Okay, so what is highlighted in that? What is highlighted in that?
That's pertaining to. I wish somebody bring it up because I don't want to just speak off the cuff. But as we're bringing it up, it's more or less basic on interracial marriage per se. So there was the case was that if should this person be married? Can this person be married in the Commonwealth or I believe of Virginia at the time? When at the time you that was a law, that was one of the black codes that you couldn't. That was still a statute from the Black Code 1779 Black Codes, where you could not so-called intermarry
because you was a what?
Slave. You were black.
A black, right?
A Negro. Right.
Negro, color, African American, all synonymous to slavery, right?
Slave. Islam.
See, we're dealing with facts. So, and then when you bring up the Dred Scott, and the Dred Scott, okay, that white people have no, wasn't no law for white people had, okay, so yeah, for blacks. Yeah, because black has no standing in law. What is super mortis pertaining to national and pertaining to science and law? What is super mortis? Because she's saying black people
legally dead.
Law, right?
Black mean death, legally dead.
Right.
So when you're talking about black people and getting locked up in chains, only people I know in chains are slaves. When you're using the vernacular of black, because black has no standing in law. It was illegal to be a Negro, black, and color since the 1830 something. So when people be making TikToks like that lady just did, let's play it one more time.
But the Dred Scott law has never been abolished. So I don't know. She what she's doing is conflating two things that the cases were based on not the same thing.
Yes.
They kind of contradict each other a little bit.
Well, they say that the Dred Scott decision was abolished. Folks,
it never was abolished.
It never. That's what I'm saying.
14th Amendment. But that's what she's saying. She think that the
14th Amendment had
that she thinks the Dred Scott decision was abolished with the 14th Amendment.
Right. And mixing it all up. Now you say you black for black people. Now we got to deal with the fact. We got to deal with the law. We got to deal with the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendment. We got to set a precedent now. Because see, this is how stuff in academia, if you say this facts, then this ain't slander. It's this is what it is. Let's deal with the facts. This is like a quiz bowl. Okay. So yes, that's right, Lonzo. That's right. See, this should go viral. She shouldn't be upset. If you basing your stuff on facts, let's deal with it. That's why I be telling certain people should shut up when they're emotional. Do she know what the Spencer versus Dungy was? The precedent case? Do she know what the Spencer versus Dungy was? See, this is why this stuff is goofy, y'all, and it's dangerous.
She's admitting to being black. She says that she's black, so she feels like that has something to do with her.
But look, she might not feel she black. She might know who she is. She telling what I'm saying is dangerous when you telling other people that think they black that. She might know damn well what we're talking about.
Islam.
Understand the technology of the adversary. It don't have nothing to do with color. Think what I'm saying. To trick the masses. Think about this now.
How you chasing the carrot?
She was passionate. She was trying to rile the people up.
Yes. Incite. Then it's on the broad meat. That's asinine. To tell like, okay, now let's be specific. Since we always getting into the people fights. Like in a misnomer black culture, the women's rights. Misnomer black men ain't had no problem with our women having no rights or working. That wasn't our fight. And now here it is, a person keep coming with that black stuff. And I say, okay, are you down with reparations? Oh, okay, well, no Negro, black, and color African American is never going to get no reparations. Not never in life. The only people that's going to get reparations is for a Negro is the person that created them. Black has no standing in law. black was never used to describe ethnicity in the first century. So why shouldn't we debunk this and we know it? This don't even make sense. And and so what was the Spencer versus Dungy? See, we dropping bombs right now. What was the Spencer versus Dungy? This ain't hard. Pertaining to a people. Now, come on. I ain't even we ain't even scratched the surface. You don't got to give it all. You can just give it to me in summary. Anybody know the Spencer versus Dungy? What that was all about?
Spencer was accusing Dungy, who is a dark-complected man, of being a Negro, according to.
Stop right there. It was what? He was what? Say it again. Say it with your chest out, Noble Dantes.
So Spencer was accusing Dungy. He was a dark-complected man. He said that he was a Negro. He called him being a Negro.
And it was illegal to be a Negro. It was illegal to own anything to be married. It was slander. And who was his attorney?
Abraham.
See?
That was it.
Lincoln.
So all the way back then, y'all, no matter what people feel about Abraham Lincoln, he defended that man human rights in court. He said, "Yeah, my skin might more." And then
right. I was about to say the language in that is so. Listen, y'all got to read that case because the language in there is so interesting.
Alonzo, speak on it.
No, because he said Lincoln was making a reference and he was using, as we would call, say we in the know of something. And I'm going to give you a code word or something like that, so I can say it and not expose what we really talking about. But I'm going to say Noble Dantes. I say, well, Your Honor, this is Mr. Dantes Moore. He's not so and so. He's of a special elk and such. And so to just say, well, more can mean this, more can mean that. You know what I'm saying? But you're trying to say it in a sense. So the language is like they're playing like tennis. You know what I'm saying? Back and forth. If you are in the court of law and you know the language, right, and what they're saying. So that's why I said you read the case, because you're using more, but he's using is more MOOR. Is it MOORE? And if you know what you're listening to, you see what they're really, really, really talking about when it pertains to law and status.
Yes. And he proved this case. He said, his skin is different because his skin is darker than yours and mine doesn't mean he's a Negro.
Right.
I mean, that's why I tell people, people haven't studied the thing, because if they did, this wouldn't be even a topic. That's why I'm saying, look, listen here, man. No such thing as no sovereign citizen. That's why I said the sovereign citizen and the black radical, they just as crazy. Think about this. Think about it. You mixing what Trump talking about with some people, some alien, whatever you want to call it, mixing in the same boat with nationality. So I ask a person, what's your nationality? What's your race? What's your status? Black, black, black. Okay, well, reverse. Do you know what SF 181 form pertaining to ethnicity? Nope. But so if you listen to her and that was put in front of your face, you will fill out black from some magical black land in Africa. If you listening to her, am I right about what I'm saying?
Right.
See? So you just willingly out your mouth, like I said, how misnumbered black people are mental slaves, willingly choose something that is meaningless and then try to explain it. That's insanity. Think about that. You would come to court with all this, we will reparations, and I'd be like, okay, well, you were what? You a Negro? Black, we know the law. Well, black has no standing in law, black smart person. Right?
No, it just, and it's just very well self-evident that the lack of having an identity, quote unquote, a nationality, quote unquote, a vine and fig tree, or quote unquote, anything to hold on to, right? So this vacuum, so to speak, that where it appears nothing exists, we tend to think that a color could hold us down, in a lack of a better frame of words, right? So it's like, well, hey, I'm black and I'm proud. Now watch this. Not knowing this is the psychosis, and this is why the Negro is the joke of masonry, because with the whole idea, it's the cycle of ignorance that unfortunately our leaders and those that in the position of knowledge, if you will, have been able to be hoodwinked, right? Led astray, run amok, bamboozled, and leading us in yet another burning house.
It's
Islam.
an oxymoron. Islam, Noble Alonzo. It's an oxymoron. I mean, what does the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15 state? Watch this. Somebody break it down for me. One of my brothers. See, watch how simple this stuff is. When I say a person should be appalled. And then people take that and repeat it. It shows you how the lack of study or the lack of just everything the misnomer Negro is subject to.
Everyone has a right of a nationality and cannot be arbitrarily deprived of it.
You say what, Noble Dante? What you just said? Everyone have a what?
Everyone has a right of a nationality and cannot be arbitrarily deprived of it.
Any more of it?
No one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his nationality, nor denied the right to change his nationality.
And what else?
No one shall be held in slavery or servitude. Slavery and the slave trade shall be prohibited in all their forms.
Okay. And also, the claim of child replaces the birth certificate. So you said something that you said that no one will be arbitrarily denied of a nationality and the right to change it. So that arbitrary words need to be explained. Do anybody know what arbitrary means? Watch this. Another bomb.
Arbitrary is when, you know, when you make basically you're making up stories or
now let's pertain it to nationality or race or status.
Nobody can just tell you who you are.
Ding. For the record, when they ask you who you are for the record, I'm black and all this in a court of law. Why? So you don't know your nationality, your race, and your status. You're not more radical. You have the right. You don't know who you are? No, why tell you who you are? Your religious laws trump it. This is what I'm telling you. This is not rocket science. If we say we're intelligent, and most of us that look like argue over religion, well, we say, like Noble Alonzo has said, we black and we proud per se. Well, then I think it's important to talk some things and see, do we agree on law? Because we done marched forever and nothing changed. We voted Republican and Democrat, but I say, okay, no matter what you vote for, do you know who you are? That's going to trump everything. When you fill things out, that's going to trump everything. When a census comes, we told you how to fill it out. You don't hide for nothing. You in the world. It's a certain way to do things the right way. But when we listen to falseness pertaining to who you are, you can't do that. I asked a person, Article 13, with all 20 sections. And I asked brothers and sisters to read these things because people, they done took TikTok and all these things And you think just because a person can go on Wikipedia and Google something and have a background like it means something. And then when we start talking facts about the Emancipation Proclamation and all that, I'll say it didn't free a single Negro. You know, it didn't free nobody from legally binding slaves laws of 1779. We talk about the United States Constitution 3/5 clause. See, you can't deny this. And it did, in fact, abolish the institution of slavery, but then it opened the door of freedom to all African descendants in America. But then you got to understand that the 13th Amendment was the greatest and only document of manumission. So now you got to look up what manumissions is. Because see, I'm talking to a people. We have to do this. We're talking to a people. Do we know what a manumission? Do we know what a manumission is? Anybody? Look it up.
The act of freeing slaves by their owners. Manumission or enfranchisement is the act of freeing slaves by their owners.
Ever to be acted by Congress of the United States. But although the 2 sections ratified were just watered down versions of the 20 sections originally proposed, and just 1 section was needed to free all the so-called African descendants from their mental slavery and constitutional bondage in the United States. After the day in 1865 when the 2 sections passed, of the 13, originally 20, it only took 1 of those to free all so-called slaves, right? You know, it freed all the slaves from every cranny in the world. Think about this. So I want us to know this. Things were recycled. And you got to remember that the United States never been without the so-called slaves. Think about this now. Now watch this. It must also be remembered for the only time in U.S. history, the U.S. ratified 3 major bodies of law into its constitution, which concern her beloved parcels. And these 3 Reconstruction Amendments, write that down. Reconstruction Amendments were written in the exclusive interest of slaves, ex-slaves, and all other Negroes only. Negroes. So Negro, color, African American, and Black, that's all synonymous to slaves, right?
Correct. Just long.
Okay, follow me. Now, y'all, now correct me if I say anything wrong, please. Because I don't want to, I'm not here to try to mislead anyone. Because I can stand to be corrected with the truth. Because the truth has no sides. So we can show what the word reconstruction is. This is what I tell people in law, in civics, in criminal law. It's a language. And if you don't know the language, you're going to be caught up in linguistic apartheid. You're going to be thinking you manufactured. You're going to be thinking you sincere, but you sincerely wrong. And then you're not even going to say, you know what, I was wrong. You're going to try to defend a lie. That's insanity. That's insanity. That's insanity. You know, when we talk about reconstruction, you know, we talk about that. And it was used to identify the upgrading of slavery, more so than down loading post-war Americans into a reconstruction period. When people we talk about persons, and I said, okay, well, do you know what persons mean in the kind of the scheme of things? No, you don't. Both of these political movements took place at the conclusion of the Civil War. But later, which most people assume indicative of what was actually being reconstructed. Think about this, y'all. Without the enslavement of the indigenous people of the West Africa, these laws would have never been ratified into existence. Think about this, y'all. Think about why the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendment, particularly as pertaining to American slaves, ex-slaves, and as granted privileges, opposed to rights, when a person make these bogus statements. And I say, okay, well, let's talk about the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendment. Well, what's the use of the 14th Amendment then? If the 13th Amendment freed Negroes, huh, Brian?
Islam.
I mean, I don't know.
it's a game it's called Catch 22.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it must be like a catch or something.
Yes. And so all this things when we talking about this pertaining to nationality, all this stuff when people talk about Trump this, and I say it's only popular because Trump saying this. This always been played. Now it's magnified, and people is playing spookism. But no dish. Hey, the prophet said it. That's why I said it's going to be a time when those
Islam.
that it's going to be a time when you're supposed to stand the crowd in the midst of, and be like, wait a minute. If you say you know something, what are you afraid of? Think about this, y'all. Remember the unknowledgeable of being a slaveless government. Slavery, especially cattle slavery. When we talk about machination of a Maya people. All this stuff. You know, this was no exception to the enslavement of the West Coast Africans by other nationalities and nations. So all this stuff that we talk about, y'all, when you're going to make a statement about being black and the 14th Amendment of this, and then twist the Dred Scott law and this and that and the other, well, the Dred Scott law was never abolished. It ain't no law, never. It ain't nothing that a so-called white person have to respect for some misnomer slave, black person, African American. That's what you mad at. If it's okay, research the Wilmington white man's constitution. If you think we so smart, research the Wilmington's white man constitution and see what they did to them niggas. Excuse my candor. If you think being black, Negro, African American means something, excuse my candor. We have to know this because black people, they don't have the 2/5 that was taken from you from slavery. Will you identify as a Negro, black, a color, or African American? What you don't have? Your spirit and your soul. You know, your nationality and your creed. Your nationality is the descendant birth attachment through an especial nation or tribe, like Alonzo was saying earlier. Free national name. Watch this, y'all. Lineage identity. Listen to this. Free national name. Lineage identity. Now let's go back to something my dad was making a statement on. When we ain't no freed men. Now, we can say we freemen, and when you go to the ancient, what freeman means, you know the ancient word of freeman? Amazigians, Berbers, free men. That's what they called themselves. That's what they named themselves. They named themselves Amazigians. And Amazigians, Berbers, aka free men. You see? Your nationality, the descendant birth attachment through an especial nation or tribe, free national name, lineage, identity, and your creed, which is a religious path of God consciousness established through forefathers, vine and fig tree. Now, a Negro, color, African American, you don't have none of that. Why? Because you were created. How? By your master. That's why. So what you talking about? Talk about some amendments. What you talking about? Everything you saying is null and void. You don't have none. Ain't nothing for you. You a slave. I just broke it down. Even the Lord, watch this, y'all. Like this stuff is like elementary, my friend. And I don't mean no disrespect. Anybody want to jump in, but watch this. When we talk about your nationality and your creed, that's the two main fifths extracted from the so-called African American, Negro, color, whatever you want to call yourself. When a lack of knowledge, because when you open your mouth and you know and you're afraid, that's worse as everything. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and many other European Freemasons, slave owners who signed the Constitution of the United States, they wrote in their chattel as 3/5 of a person. The Constitution thus became the first legal national deed of ownership of African slaves in a new nation. It's no disrespect. This act alone legalized racism, apartheid into the interior fabric of the new American culture. Further, it politically certified all misnomer Negro, black, and colors as 3/5 of all other persons, and at the level of a beast. The European wrote the book, The Negro of Beast. I gave it to y'all. I hope we read it. That's why when people be like, we the black man and we this and the other. No, you ain't. You a beast. You a sardine. What are we talking about? Who would teach that black stuff? Yo, that man, Negro, all that, the derogatory name of Negro, how can you get some endearment from that? You ain't saying Nagas. Like when a European boy spelled in the spelling bee, when he had to give me the etymology of the word, give me the origin of the word. Can you give me the word in a sentence? Niggas. And he spelled it a certain way. Am I right or am I wrong about it? I know I'm right about it. Any man without national roots from to which draws strength and the great God from his or her guiding is no longer a complete man or woman. This ain't got nothing to do with no more science and all this. Hell, this just got to do with civics. Like I said, here it is. I got European college that want to study with me, and this my people don't want to. Oh, because we got a job, and we can say happy birthday to a celebrity that don't care nothing about you, and we talk about freedom and reparations. Negroes is never going to get reparations. I don't care how many marches you have. I don't care if you hire Ben Crump and y'all have a whole bunch of commercials and it be with Al Sharpton and they talk about all this. Man, they ain't gonna have no real conversation with misnomer black people. Why? Because they think black people stupid. No disrespect. And they think black people don't read or don't know the law. I'm breaking it down with you. And I'm spoon feeding you. And I'm not getting even deep with it. For those who keep up to the total commercialization of certain things, you just like the Wizard of Oz. You know, the Negro, black, and color as purely a fictional character, a fake citizen. See? And people, and they know that. Watch this. Watch this, y'all. To attempt to remove in whole or in part one or more fifths from any man is a conscious act known simultaneously as both a sin and a crime. See? But then watch this. This is another fact. The United States judicial system marks this violation as a federal crime and is known throughout the U.S. courts as what? Denationalization. Fact check me. See, this is the irony of people that'll sit up here that look like you and be sincerely wrong, slobbing off at the mouth. This sad. But the irony of this is committed all the time. How? Watch this. By every state since the 14th Amendment became law and then written. How? State sealed upon what? The live birth certificate of every Moorish, whoever, in its context, every so-called black person. See? See how easy this stuff can be destroyed? But watch this. But denationalization is played off on the birth certificates as another. You know, the black baby is born. When I give you the analogy of the Negro and the sardine, just like the European author wrote, the Negro is a beast. Same context. But when your brothers say this, he's radical. But my European brother said, you just teaching, you Melchizedek. But when the Europeans say, when I show the videos, oh, he heavy. You look how packed his teachings are. And then these people are like, well, we listen to you. I know. You got the same education we have. I know. You lectured in university just like we have. I know. You right there with your people. What? And your people right there with the other people, with their people. You're doing what we're supposed to do. See? We ain't got to do nothing else. Beware of lying lawyers. Watch this. Any lawyer worth his salt of the bar exam will lie to you, swear on the Bible, and declare blacks are citizens of the USA. Watch this. Watch how we're going to destroy this as well. Listen clearly. The term other persons of the U.S. Constitution refers to slaves. Okay, but the 13th Amendment abolished slavery. Or the Dred Scott decision was replaced. It wasn't abolished, it was replaced by the 14th Amendment. See? And specifically eliminated the 3/5 formula. What these servants of the courts won't tell their clients is that no constitutional laws has ever been handed down by Congress to teach back the later 2/5 necessary to make the so-called free slave into a whole person. Y'all still with me, y'all? Anybody want to add on that?
Islam, Sheik.
Okay. A person must be made consciously whole before he or she can become a citizen. So when you talk that black stuff, you ain't even a citizen. You talk about something like you don't have nothing. Everything you say, I'm gonna tell you. Have the rights of a citizen and be subject to the jurisdiction of a citizen. Everyone, I do mean everyone, anywhere on the planet Earth has all 5/5 and are whole, except who? The Negro. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They don't even know that because they don't study to show themselves approved. A workman is due his hire. Hosea 4:6, my people are lost, my people are destroyed due to a lack of what? Knowledge of self. Why? Because you refuse to learn. I'm telling you. You are whole except the misnomer Negro. That's who. The so-called blacks made in America and the Cetas of India. The 13th Amendment abolished physical slavery, but left psychological, mental slavery in full effect. So this violates the second fifth. Which is the second fifth? What? The right of mind, the soul of the 5 gifts from who? The Creator. I don't care what you call it. Speaking of one's right mind, it reminds me how, no disrespect to no one, certain Negroes be under religion, no matter what it is. They pray to a God that and they thank him, allowing them to wake up. That's why I said, if a person, like I be telling people, oh, all this Jesus stuff, no disrespect, man, the Klan had Jesus all behind him, and then when they did something or killed you, they burnt the cross. I mean, what are we talking about? You know, come on, man. And if that's the God that you want to tell me and all this, come on, man, that's crazy. Because my God ain't with that. But with the ratification of the 13th Amendment, the enslavement of human bodies is now legally enforced. Think about this. This is what we do. Remember, Lincoln also said, my people do not want them, who the slaves, to become citizens. That's why I say individual people like us that know we must do what? Proclaim, declare, and have due process. See, that's when the stupid stuff come out on TikTok. I said TikTok. TikTok, no matter if it's male or female, should be debunked off the top. Because it's like there's no excuse of not knowing the law in the court of law. President Lincoln also said, my people do not want them, the slaves, to become citizens. So when you talk about that Spencer and Dungy case, he had to go defend himself in the court of law. He had to go bring them charges up, didn't he? Didn't his neighbor ain't go do it. Noble Alonzo ain't go do it, did he? He did it himself, didn't he? And set a precedent, right?
Right.
Come on, when people talk about what? Do y'all know what a precedent is?
A precedent is
pertaining
the history of something, you know what I'm saying, or the standard of something, or the truth of something.
There you go. That's why we talk about the Free Information Act, the dot numbers, and what else? Free Information Act, the dot numbers, and what? It's another one.
Precedent law cases.
Come on, precedent in law cases. See, that's how we can debunk those that's coming with that crap, because they can be emotional as they want. But if we're dealing with a real referee, a judge, they're going to be like, okay, well, I got to deal with the facts. You come with the facts. Don't come with, oh, I think this or I heard this. You done. You wasting time. We're going to rest our case. It's going to be no rebuttal. It's going to be no rebuttal. But I still believe, okay, well, that ain't what we're talking about in the law. That gets you messed up. He said, if I can unite my country without freeing the slaves, I would do that. He was actually expressing a European national sentiment. No true red-blooded, no disrespect, y'all. American wanted to free slaves. Although the ratification of the original 13th Amendment with its full body of 20 sections, please read it all, did not reach fruition. It did not reach fruition. It is still of the utmost importance for its historical adjudication before the 1864 U.S. Congress to be known to African descendants. See? Watch this. Case 1. The enactment of these laws was all about the emancipation and freedom of their recent grand forefathers. And 2, when the full Senate vote, listen to this, on passing the 13th Amendment, yeas 38, nays 7, the U.S. slave population was 98% illiterate, and not one of them was present to represent themselves as a people. I hope y'all hear what I'm saying, right? We ain't talking about feelings. We ain't talking about feelings. Now, all this time later, the children of today, we can read. We can read. I know I can. I know you can too. And I know truth seekers can too. See, I know who the gods of earth and the 5%ers. But when I talk about 85% of the world is dumb and blind, 10% of the world know the truth and won't tell it, I call those gatekeepers, no matter what color they are. And 5% of the world know the truth and they teach it. Those are the poor righteous teachers. Yes, we get that. But I know a lot of poor righteous teachers like myself and other nationalities. And I know more that don't look like me in my field of education and academia that stand on what I'm standing on and can prove it on all sides, historically, religiously, any way you want to. See, Islam?
Islam.
So let's proceed. Y'all got anything? Please add it in. You know, so when we talk about the article 13 with the 20 sections, all persons shall have the right peacefully to assemble. Y'all know all that. But watch this. If you don't know it, I challenge you to read it. Like Alonzo said, go back and look at this stuff. This is precedent. If you don't know what we said when we talk about the SF-181 form pertaining to ethnicity, and when you get something, you fill it out, you click, oh, black. Yeah, because most misnomer black people will. Why? Because if you do that, that means clearly you don't know who you are. And you're confused. That's all that means. And I'm not upset at you, but you need to know. Because then things will start to shift. You know? Because when black people today talk about reparations, that ain't nothing but welfare. Hell, Donald Trump, I don't know if he already done cut off Section 8. I don't know. I know he didn't talk about it. He might have cut it off for all the welfare stuff.
It might have probably ran out by now.
Yeah. But then when I be telling people, they be talking all this government stuff and they be poor and broke. And you know, and on general assistance. I say, no, I said that's an oxymoron too. There was no need for so as we clear this up, let's break down the specifics of what I'm saying pertaining to this 14th Amendment, because it's really obsolete when you know who you are for that context. Now, do I have empathy for everyone? Of course I do. That's why I tell people, what about you? What about the atrocity of you? I have compassion for everyone. That's why people come together and stand up and make things change and laws and all that and change. But when we as a people, when we stand behind some black stuff, it's nothing going to happen pertaining to law. And we can deal with any lawyer, any person that talk that black stuff, that's radical about that, and deal with law pertaining to ethnicity, pertaining to all this stuff. They're going to lose. They're going to lose. Now watch this. There was no need for the application of the 14th and the 15th Amendment for the salvation of any misnomer Negro, color, or African American. Because we examined this in the 1865 and then the 1870 amendments. And we made the determination that the 14th and the 15th Amendment is the sneakiest document of re-enslavement to have ever been written. That's why I'd be like, man, this stuff be dangerous. I don't care if it's a woman. To get on TikTok and then be saying it like that and put fear in the hearts, I say, no one should be feared. If you know you ain't a Negro, color, or African American, out your mouth. If you know that, then who you talking to, ma'am or sir? The 14th Amendment alone is so crippling and devastating until it later transformed every U.S. citizen from ignorant sugar cubes to corporate sheets. You know? Everybody talking about straw man. You know? The power of the South has been its slaves until losing the Civil War. Remember? 1863 military strategy of the Emancipation Proclamation and the 1870 Negro Voters' Right Amendments. See, it proved the South states were powerless without slaves. What are slaves? Negro, colored, blacks, African Americans. They slaves. What does black mean pertaining to science and law? Silva mortis. If anybody on here know that a lot of law stuff is Latin, you have to know the context of what it's saying. The 14th and the 15th Amendment brought the North and the South into a unit, placing Southerners who were at that time without power. Remember, the Civil War was primarily fought between so-called blue and gray. Remember, one of the forgotten calls or one of the hidden calls of the Civil War was if you had a tittle of Negro blood in you, you was considered an NIGGA. You see, that's what people don't know. And that's why they make them books so expensive. But we got them here at the BBT. See, in my academic endeavor, I was able to collect so much stuff, convert them to PDF, know how to get these and offer them to people for a fraction of $1 that they're selling on Amazon some paper for like $1,700. And then people be like, well, where your scholarship? And then when you give them the scholarship, they be boo. And then when we show them other historical records that cost $1,000 on Amazon, you just haven't been introduced to the science, but you can't hear. You see? The 14th Amendment was actually a legal settlement or an agreed order, which took slavery from the Great Dispensation and spread it to every state throughout the United States of the Blue Republic. See, this was the only way both brothers could settle the long-standing grievance about the powers owning and sustaining what? Negro, black, and colors, slaves in America. You got to understand that the founding fathers and their prosperity were and are fantastically serious about their slaves. No disrespect to no one, man. That's why they fought their mother country and then each other just to keep the human chattel. All you got to do is research this stuff. Research the honorable president of the mighty Sixes nation, Chief Sitting Bull, 1834 1893. And see, he was the Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer's worst daymare. And research what happened at Little Bighorn in 1876. Research that. And rarely do many people of the United States realize the constitutional 13th Amendment was also a manumission treaty with the African descendants of former slaves. The document not only freed the slaves, but almost simultaneously, family, created a second new nation of people. The Treaty of Freedom was broken within 3 years of its ratification by the COVID and needless 14th Amendment that the lady was talking about. That's why, like Noble Alonzo, he was like, I wonder what this is. I'm telling you what it is. I'm telling you what it is. The Treaty of Freedom was broken within 3 years of its ratification by what? The covert and needless 14th Amendment. Also living in the same sunlight, no disrespect, of European words, the so-called Negro, color, and black people being backlash from the 1868 14th Amendment still believe this congressional act made them citizens of the United States. It's really heartbreaking when most people discover that that it is a divine, natural, and lawful impossibility to make a denationalized person, aka property, into a citizen of a free national government. A people are only free when they are true to themselves, pure, clean, and independent. No disrespect. So it is of supreme importance for anyone listening or any student to identify the esoteric, the exoteric master words, persons, and alien, particularly as they are used in the Reconstruction Amendments and in the parent body, which is the U.S. Constitution. See, these words are soaked in the Masonic Maya of the European male superiority, no disrespect, and this profane world of Africans, women, handicapped, children, and the elderly. They have the appearance of freedom, but have a deceptive core of subjugation and slavery. If the misnomer Negro, black, and color really wants to see what the U.S. laws say of them, they must understand their language when they are called persons and aliens, or they can simply rationalize their frivolous possibility of the same constitutional master of slaves for 400 consecutive years will suddenly love you so much as to free you and to recognize you as equal to themselves as citizens. This is likely from that, and it's totally unfair of a life without slaves. Think about this. So brothers, look at this mentally. This complete disregard for Negroes as citizens was backed up by nearly a century of non-military support. That's why the SF 181 form is so monumental, try, because it's putting it in your face. That's where everybody be like, oh, good, we need to do. No, you don't. You don't need to do nothing. It's in your face. It's in your face, and you can't even see. And Stevie Wonder had eyes to see. He said, in 1492, you fell upon the shores, 700 years, educated by the Moors. I mean, come on, man. Come on. This complete disregard for Negroes as citizens was backed up, you know, until the event of the Little Rock Nine. Remember, 1868, 1957. That was an 89 period. There were 3,882 recorded lynchings. The 1921 mass bombing of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and millions of cases of Jim Crow. Now, listen to the bombshell. The 14th Amendment clearly states, and I quote, now I told y'all to listen to Persons and Alien. I hope y'all catching this. This is how you can catch people and then they still gonna argue things that have no plight. That's insanity. That's why I said that TikTok stuff is dangerous. I don't care if it's a woman, it's dangerous. The 14th Amendment clearly states all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. The italicized words are very consequential to the understanding the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Watch this. It goes on to read, in addition to no legal abridgment of these privileges or immunities of the citizens, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, property, or equal protection of the laws. This opening clause is in fact an ex post facto reenactment of the Negro and congressional deed of ownership of all ex-slaves, aka persons. See? You can't have your feelings wrapped up in things. Not law. These laws were already written and guaranteed to U.S. citizens, right? As what? Rights. Think about this now. Earlier in the Constitution and the Declaration of what? Independence. All you gotta do is stop me if you can't follow me. Because my elementary students, they follow me. They walk with me. They hold my hand. They say, well, yeah. I can't wait for Misnomer Black History. One of my elementary students can go, how can I say, to the third heaven with the wisdom and understanding how you're going to break down to the class. It's going to be illuminating. It's going to be illuminating. So why was it necessary for these rights, y'all, to appear as privileges again in this 14th Amendment? You ain't asked yourself that question? Watch this. Simple. To make provisions for millions of free slaves that were not included in the Constitution, designed by the people and for the people, that was endowed by their creator. Unfortunately, y'all, history shows that the misnomer Negro, Black, and Color slaves was and is endowed by his owner. Y'all heard what I said? By his owner. And it is the duty of all creators to endow their creations. So when people be talking about reparations, and I said Black people not gonna get no reparations. Why? I just told you. The only people that's gonna get something for you is the person that created you. I just told you. So this also revealed. You say, well, go ahead, Noble.
I was just saying the owner or the quote unquote master.
That's right. That's right. So history shows that the Negro, Black, and Color as an American-made product exclusively. As an American-made product exclusively. That's why anybody from the continent of Africa, they laugh at misnomer Black people. No disrespect. They say, you the blackest misnomer, no disrespect, white man they ever seen. No disrespect. No disrespect to no one. Because I love everyone, because I know who I am. Made, certified, and marked only where? In America. The owner of all Negro, Black, and Colored people was and will always be the exclusive makers of Negroes. Now, when you say you a Negro, black, and a color, I want to say, who created you? If you say the great God created you, you a lie, ain't no truth in you. Because the great God ain't creating no Negroes. So you lied again. I mean, for real though, y'all. Am I right about it?
Most definitely.
Come on now. The creator ain't the great God. I don't care what you call it. Ain't creating no Negro, colored, black, African American. Yeah. No, don't be lying on the creator. You make in the image of God.
And honestly, if you want to get into anything of the spectrum, he said, "Let there be light." You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man. All creators are the true owner of their creations, and God never made any black people. During the period of physical slavery, it was understood the slave was the property of the slave master, endowed with his name, mark, and provisions. The 14th Amendment merely changed and legalized the language to color the institution of psychohistory, servitude, into the assumed sensory it is today. And it now reads, and I quote eloquently with a silver tongue, all persons born, quotations, this clause was made to symbolize the nationalization of former slaves into citizens, yet without the free national descendant name of their forefathers and their own true nationality, then by divine and natural law, they are still slaves and the subject to the jurisdiction thereof. No disrespect. That's what I tell people. When people say they study in civics, I say, where you study in civics at? Please don't tell me in nobody's backyard. Talk about you went to prison and you learned civics. You lying. It's like in Living Color. And I'm not saying you can't. Don't get me wrong. But it'd be like in Living Color. And you know when they was in jail and he was the Muslim dude and he was using all them words, breaking stuff down and it wasn't meaning nothing. And I'm like, you so heavy, but you sitting in this prison cell.
Red fish, blue fish.
You in prison talking all this wide stuff, using all these big words, sitting behind the bars. Not saying that you can't have the knowledge, but just talking a bunch of gibberish to rile people up. And that's not what truth and law and understanding does. Truth and law and understanding is liberating. Why? Because it's available for who? For everyone. For everyone. It's precedented. It has a doc number. It's in the Free Information Act. It's there. Do you see? And this is the respect that we have for the truth. It gave the U.S. assumed ownership again over the ex-slaves before they could wake up from the mental blow to the head that would make us a nation, or the misnomer Negro, a nation. And with all due respect to the U.S. courts being the thing owner of the ex-slaves today, it is particularly their inheritance, y'all. Why? Because the 13th Amendment frees the Africans to proclaim their free national name and religion. But they did not. And over the centuries of absorbing every form of dehumanization contrived by man, the misnomer Negro, black, and color had become too accustomed to handouts. I call it Eurocentric and Negrocentric propaganda because I don't put it on one culture. I put it on both. Why? Because that's what happens. No disrespect to no one. I've been in academia. I've seen all these so-called Masons and fraternities. You can go all the way back to Steve Coakley and he tell you the Greek is a fraud. You can't be mad at me. Research what Steve Coakley said. Research George G.M. James talk about stolen legacy. All Greek history is nothing but stolen Egyptian history. You can't be mad. Research Albert Churchward, Signs and Symbols of the Primordial Man. Research Gerald Massey. All these European scholars that told the truth in first century. This is history. It's like, what's wrong with you? Wake up, my brothers and sisters. Kumbaya. Stand up and arise. Stand up and arise. Kum the ba and the ya. Stand up and arise. And the worst of all, they had been knocked in the head so hard they are still legally unconscious of themselves and our divine origin. Think about this. Mental slavery. It was during this 3-year law, the 14th Amendment was fabricated, forming a legal constitutional death blow to a people freshly stillborn from slavery. Now, if that lady made that TikTok video that put it out there for the world, you can't say, don't judge me. You put it out there for the world. As it was facts. That's why I say this stuff is dangerous. Because then, in a court of law, which the so-called police and all that stuff has free range, they have immunity from killing niggas. That's why every time a black this was killed, or black this, or black this, or black this. Okay, well, if that's the case, that's anti-Semitic because I ain't black. See? Unfolds is divine reason why we teach this. Why we say the United States Constitution have never been changed. Listen to what I'm saying, y'all. The United States Constitution has never been changed. There is no need for the application of the 14th and the 15th Amendment for the salvation of misnomer Negro, Black, and Colored, and African Americans. And I can drop my pen right there because I don't have to go no more. I can go way deeper. Anybody want to add anything?
Islam, no. This it just gives us the, how would you say, the pictorial of why the appearance of the avatar of the Prophet Noble Ali came on the scene. See, because we got to understand, we got to try to connect the dots here. Like, what does all this mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right, and why is it such a high focus, or should be such a high focus, on nationality and creed, and the fact that we fell so far away from our own vine and fig tree, and started to worship all of these strange gods, and forgot to honor our forefathers and foremothers, so our days could be long upon the earth plane. So we brought a lot of harm and injury on ourselves just by turning our back on ourselves, unbeknownst to the fact that what we're doing. But then comes the appearance of the Prophet Noble Ali, who was first Timothy Drew, right? Which he kept his family crest.
Mm-hmm.
He gave us a symbol and a sign and said, well, I'm Noble Drew Ali. If we just be watching and paying attention and have ears to hear and eyes to see, and this is what's so beautiful about this time in the illustrious Sheikh Kyrie and the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School, as Sheikh professes as a God man, and as myself as a God man, and as all of us here as nobles, we are saying we are not what some have classified us to be. We're not Negro, Black, and Colored. We are Moorish American. Why? Because we are descendants of Moroccans born here in America, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, while the prophet said the fallen sons and daughters of North America need to learn to love instead of hate, why the fallen? Because why? We fell away from our divine and national standards to where we have become outcasts and undesirables amongst the family of nations. So we have to draw a line. And it's saying today, and say with your chest, bold and proudly, why? Because our prophet already declared and proclaimed what it is. It says that there's no need for the 14th Amendment.
Mm-hmm.
The 13th Amendment abolished slavery. So what we're going to do now, we got to start to move forward and think that now, well, we got to change the platform that you're going to plant your flag in. because you're damn sure not going to pardon my French, but you're not planting in them Negro, Black, and colored or African American. Anything that denotes the slavery off top takes you off the platform. So as soon as you start talking, automatically we know what you're talking about. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because of your language. That language is important. With that, I say Islam.
Islam, no, Alonzo. My homie, I'm on my. He like, brother, you were getting ready to say something. I know I was. I get this last. We'll be on. How long? Let me see. We've been going an hour. I get this last little. It'll take a couple minutes, and I'll give it to you, friend. But because he said he like that word person sticking out. I know it is. That's why I said that's why my noble said if you have ears to hear, certain things will start sticking out to you. You know what I mean? You'll start questioning. That's what I want here. That's why I said this is a safe place. I say go research everything I'm saying. Come back. This is the school. This is the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School. We know who we are. We ain't letting nobody come here to just for a debate stage. We ain't debating nothing. The science is demonstrating. But the word person, as used in the 14th Amendment, y'all, you see how when I say things are like covert, nom de plums, what we call omniums, like secret code words and things, like deception. And it's fooled a lot of people. It's fooled a lot of legal minds in American history. Why? Watch this, y'all. Those few that do know would not tell because why? They were sworn to secrecy prior to receiving the information. Now, watch how I illuminate this. Man, when I talk about, when I say, like Noble Alonzo said, the European is not the joke of masonry. Why? Because the European will tell you that he or she is the son of a Muslim. They know all the science I'm talking about. They know all the science that I'm talking about. And even so, when we deal with your own kind, which people like to say gatekeepers, if a person have a degree in history and all this, and they doctors and all this, well, why not they speaking about this? What we saying? Why not they speaking about the SF-181 form, the Declaration of Human Rights, House Joint Resolution 75, all these things we're talking about? Why they hide Noble Drew Ali in history? Yeah, when Malcolm X came back, he got out that black stuff. He met Pinto Gamma when he went over to the Holy Land, came back with a whole understanding language, like that black stuff has no meaning in law. Am I right about what I'm saying? Come on now.
Indeed.
Come on now, y'all. Now let's stop playing. So you can't hate what I'm saying. You can't hate what I'm saying. Remember, all three of the Reconstruction Amendments ratified by Congress between 1865 and 1870 were written exclusively about the slaves and ex-slaves family. So the most damaging by far is the 14th Amendment. Let me say it again for the lady and for everyone that's following that crap. No disrespect, because that's what it is. It's crap. It's the most damaging by far is the 14th Amendment. Here, the word person is always referring to what? Ex-slaves. Always is a word held to protect the civil rights of the misnomer Negro, Black, and Colored, but was broadened, by the Supreme Court to include what? Corporations, other properties, and businesses under its Equal Protection Clause. And this word is today as much as the 3/5 as the 3/5 formula in its basic U.S. Constitution, which calls too bright of a light in that letter of the law, and through the equivalent of the same individual and corporate property family as always. So what I'm trying to say, y'all, to sum up, the 14th terminology, aka person, and the word property are synonymous. Did y'all hear what I just said? That's why I'm laughing, Alonzo. see, like in certain things that after you'll let a person break their whole demonstration down and just give one sentence and say, okay, now what about this? And then all the stuff that you're saying is done. They gonna still try to keep going. You see?
That's now, you know what? Now when you look at real property and property, it's two different things.
See you later.
Wow.
You see how easy this stuff is?
Come on.
This is elementary. You see, the Negro referred to in the Unchanged 1779 U.S. Constitution as 3/5 is the same property referred to as persons in the 1868 14th Amendment, all this time later. Again, proving the corporate United States of America, with the exception of the 3 years. What 3 years? From 1865 to 1868 has never been without its slaves. That's why I say Negroes today, African Americans, whatever you want to call it, family, they will never have true rights. I'm sorry. The misnomer, they don't even know that's a misnomer. Negro, black, and color, being names of denationalized human property, were never designed to have no rights. So I don't care what nobody talking about. I don't care you making a TikTok video and it go viral. Okay, well, when you talk about FEMA camp, that's going to be in a FEMA camp. Who? Negroes. There you go. Property. That's why they said the Negro of the beast. See? And you steady claiming this stupid stuff. Sad. And then the law's telling you you got the right of a nationality and the right to change it. Huh? Okay. Okay, the SF 181 form. You know, House during Revolution. You don't know this? No, we Negroes black. Sad day. Yeah, it's a sad day for those that don't know who they are. Absolutely. When you say it out your mouth, that's checkmate. Come to court and say that. Got them all, line them all up. We lead them one by one. Children too. We get the children too. And then we separate them. We really got them. You see how asinine, you see how how easy it'll be? You see how easy it'll be? Because you'll be willing to do this. And then you'll be arguing over what master is richer. The Negro, black, and color came over. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, anybody who comes over from another country, they go through a process to become a citizen.
Oh, you see, no Dantes.
No.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
They go through a process. They go through a process to become a citizen. So for, Moors, whoever who identifies black, and they think that it has something to do with them, and they weren't already free prior to, they can't, I guess, understand that you can't just owe you a citizen because we made an amendment. If others coming over here, they had to go through a whole process to become a citizen. Okay.
So remember what Trump said now. Watch this. That just because you was born here don't mean you a citizen and all this. So what you was talking about is an amnesty oath.
Islam.
I'm telling you, see, this is how, what? Proclaiming. This is why I say, this is why understanding it in the religious laws, that's why I be saying this stuff be dangerous with people, with Negroes that be listening to TikTok and don't listen to no educator and a scholar like myself. I don't go viral. I'm proven. I don't need to go viral. I'm saving lives. Amnesty oath, that's right. That's why what Ralph Ellison, the invisible man. The Negro is an invisible man. I just broke it down like the Wizard of Oz.
I was just about to say that. What you think a person is? It's an artificial. What's that? An artificial. It's a straw man. So look, what was the straw man needed in the Wizard of Oz? What was he wanting to go to see the Oz for?
And a lot of the Negroes who wonder, oh, I'll grade my straw man. Get your artificial. Get your artificial. You know what I'm here.
What did the straw man want? What did he want to go see the wizard for? Do you remember the story? A brain.
You don't got a heart or a brain. You don't got a heart or a brain. You goofy.
He said, "Listen,
you wanted a
brain.
brain.
You need a brain. If he would just, Drew Ali said, if I could just get you to think, huh? Come on.
Like people, Uncle Tom's. What are you talking about, Uncle Tom? Oh, let that, you just repeat stuff. Uncle Tom, okay. All right, let him go. But you see how simple that'd be, Nobles? You see that? Invisible, the amnesty oath. So that and that's and the lady on there worried. Well, yeah, because you don't know who you are. Yeah, because you just said it. Black. Our prophet said, be worried. Your own people will put you back in slavery. It ain't got nothing to do with more science. That's why he said, isn't it sad? That's why I said the game is so deep. Why? When somebody that's melanated, what does the 1828 Western Dictionary say? Before I go on, see, this is why I be laughing at these people. Let me get it. See, I'm always equipped. Here it is. I got the 1828. Matter of fact, I got the 1828 Western Dictionary in my hand. It says an American. Okay, what's an American? And what type of American I am? A Moorish American. I done told you out of my mouth. I'm a Moorish American. What makes me a Moorish American? Because I was born here. Where? In America. With what? African, Moroccan descent. I was born here in America. I'm going to tell you who I am. What do you mean? I just told you. You trying to tell me I'm some Negro or some African American from out of Africa off some boat, some African booty scratcher? I'm going to tell you, you a lie. I got a family crest and a coat of arms. I don't have no history or no lineage of no slavery. Not me, sir. Now, do some of the black people do? Probably, but not here. And it didn't happen how you think. So, a native of America originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper color races found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of the Europeans born in America. The name America must always exalt the pride of patriotism. You know, but we know what this is all about. So I don't even have to go deeper in that explanation. But the tribe and their family bearing the same free national name, And Alonzo broke it down eloquently earlier. Annexation. Don't like my man say on YouTube. Don't you listen to these funky Negroes trying to tell you something, or your last name is some slave name. Who told you that? Noble Drew Ali. His name was Timothy Drew. Retardo Fardo. What are you talking about? Get rid of your last name. Who told you that? That's some no disrespect. That's that Al Islam Muslim stuff. Well, your last name is slave name. I'm just X. X what? X clan? Annex your L and Bay to what? The name your mama gave you. Your coat of arms, your family crest. Smart guy? What are you talking about? Oh, my last name is the slave name. That's asinine. That's asinine. That's why I say one nationality, many cultures. A lot of us are not learned enough. But by design, the misnomer Negro, Black, and color is neither of these. So to avoid paying reparations to slaves and descendants of ex-slaves is the main reason for Congress of the United States, written Section 4 into the de facto 14th Amendment, recycle being of misnomer Negro, Black, and color, slaves, aka persons, identifications. This amendment is nothing short of a title of ownership, family, and assumable jurisdiction of the free nation of people brought forth by Congress in what? The 13th Amendment. So first, the Negro, Black, and color must be free as a people, bearing what? One free national name. I just told you. Then and only then will they be able to claim rights, which will draw its powers from our own constituted laws and principles. So family, as I close, until these laws are adhered to, these are the precedent laws. The misnomer Negro, Black, and color will remain as chattel slaves and without rights. They can only function under granted privileges, as demonstrated shamelessly with the 15th voting privileges. That was an amendment as well. We'll talk about that at another day. This has been the existing condition since the 3/5 clause of 1779. And today's graduate lawyers of the ABA exam will argue that the 3/5 clause and the Dred Scott decision were overruled by the 14th Amendment. So I don't know if that was that lady plot on TikTok. If she even tried to use that, you could be destroyed. That's why I said a first-year law student that flunked out will laugh at her. A European be like that's his crime is pertaining to ethnicity and law or indigenous people law and policy. He'll laugh just like I'm laughing. Just like I'm laughing, you know. But the 3/5 clause and the Dred Scott decision were overruled by the 14th Amendment. That's what you argue? Okay, they will lose this case, y'all, when explaining how the same slave labels of Negro, Black, and Color that lawfully began in 1779 are still certified as state-owned property today, all these years later. Ask her that. Ask her that. It's not a rightful law on earth that can make a citizen from a mold design to produce the shapes of property. And African Americans, etc., being another misnomer in the egg slot of slave labels, are exclusively, when I say exclusively, only made here, exclusively, and you can pre-order one of these. Where? Made in America. This is why privileges granted to property should never be misconstrued as being the same as true rights earned by citizens of a free national government. And I rest my case. I rest my case.
Islam.
That's not even hard. We ain't getting to know it because you got to be where you got to know it. I will hope you know where you are. When people be saying these European words, there ain't no such thing as no European words. Why? No disrespect. What are you talking about? No disrespect. We could talk about Sanskrit. We could talk about different type of writings. You know what I think? But when we say that's asinine. We talk about transliteration and translation, of course. But we can't just say that, oh, this and that and other and don't understand. Because when we say more, like we are free men. What? How you want me to spell it? M-U-U-R? How you want to say it? People be misconstruing these things, especially Americans here, that with that sovereign citizen stuff, and we debunk that. We're not Negro, Black, the color, African American. We're not none of that. We're not none of that. We're not no foreign national. We're not none of that. We Americans. And what type of American we are? Moorish Americans. Why? Because we have a right of a nationality. We have the right to change it. That's why. That's why. That's why. We understand these laws. And when somebody come on and say the 14th Amendment and black people, yeah, black people should be afraid. We identify as a black person because the Negro, color, or African American, black is synonymous to slave. Anybody got anything? There's something in the background. I hear somebody making a lot of noise. Don't nobody got anything else? So, anybody?
Islam. I'm glad we had the conversation. Her video was definitely meant to scare scared, folks, and get them to feel whatever way about it. And I can't remember if she mentioned like DEI things, but that includes more than just people who, as far as skin color and things like that. It's a whole bunch of different things, different categories with that thing. So, spookism at its best, and I'm glad we had the opportunity to get on here and talk about it. Islam.
And like I said, we could chop it up, but it's sad. But that's what John Coleman said in Tavistock Institution of Human Relations. And all that, talk about shaping the moral, the spiritual, the cultural, and the political economic decline of the United States. And that's how it's done. When I said it's no facts to none of that stuff, none of it. But to a person that's uneducated and radical, it sounds good. And then you standing behind some black stuff. Now you're standing behind something that's meaningless. And now you're going to have other people standing behind it. That's sad, y'all, and dangerous, But like I said, it was brought to my noble. It was brought to us. It's important. We're always going to stand on truth. And we're going to put it out there, For anybody got any rebuttal or anybody that feel a certain way about it, I stand on what we saying. The world stand on it. The law stand on it. I lecture this in college. That's why I'll be laughing. Europeans will say the same thing. Albions, Trinidad, whatever you want to call them, they'll say the same thing. Masons, European Masons will say the same thing. Hell, I showed the video of the Scottish Rite Mason giving credit to Noble Drew Ali on his 135th birthday. I done gave so many books and first century history of Europeans saying exactly what I'm saying. Man, I feel like, what more can I say? I mean, come on. It's here. This is not radical. We ain't talking about, oh, we did and somebody this. We trying to step on somebody and they ain't worthy of this. No. Everybody, righteousness is for everyone. Righteousness for everyone. Just like nationality is the order of the day, and you have the right of it pertaining to laws, and no one is going to arbitrarily explain who you are. You have the right to do this. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I'm gonna tell you who I am. And then historically and biblically, these things can be proven. And all scholars, truth tellers, is gonna agree with this scholarship. So it got to come to the day for us to wake up, man. It really does. And if we talk about Black Lives Matters and reparations, well, this is the conversation that need to be had to where we can deal with the truth and we can walk holding hands. If you believe in reparations, and when you say Black Lives Matter, I say no, they don't. Not pertaining to law. You know, I ain't saying black ain't beautiful. Hell, white is beautiful, blue is beautiful, green, orange, purple, all of them is beautiful as well. They're beautiful. But when we're talking about this specifically nationality, it has no standing in law. And these are just facts. No matter how you want to dress it, no matter what type of word you want. Well, we African American, no, we not. We Negro, no, we not. No, we not. We not none of that. We not none of that. And when you start understanding these things, that's why the video I showed the elders said that a lot of older people have been a disservice for the young folk. Why? Because they're afraid. They won't tell the truth like we are. That's why different nationalities, no matter if they white, black, orange, purple, and green, they give us honor. On page 31 of your Journal of the Nation, listen, remember, it talks about the Baltimore Evening Sun. Remember, this is early as February the 3rd, 1992. And all through the months, January, call you colored, February, Negro, March, black, April, Afro-American, May. They said it'll make the Jesse Jacksons and Pete Rawlings of the country happy. They call you African-American. Remember Jesse Jackson, and I forget the other lady, I forget her name. It'll come to my head at their little African-American summit. They agreed to call Negroes African-Americans and all that crap. Hell, the Big Six, those preachers, they split a funky $250,000 to get off the mission. No disrespect. Look it up. June, they said Asiatic. This is to appease the annoying, bilious members of the set known as the Moorish Science Temple of America. If I understand the demented ramblings of the temple members correct, there is no African continent. Africa is merely part of the larger continent of Asia, which was originally inhabited by black people. Misnomer. Hence, misnomer blacks are Asiatic. There, that cleared up the confusion, didn't it? But watch this. In July, it would be Moorish American. This again would be in defense to the members of the Moorish Science Temple who maintain that while their race is Asiatic, their nationality is Moorish American. I say we honor them for the months of June and July, providing they shut up for the rest of the year. August, they say the designation will be Balalian. This comes from Warden Muhammad, formerly Warden Muhammad. You know, because he was like, hey, man, he ain't finna have no, lead him. Well, originally Wallace Muhammad. Wallace Muhammad was Elijah Muhammad's successor as the leader of blah, 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 blah. Y'all know this. And then he said between all these changes, he put forth his case for calling Black Americans Balalians. Bilal, an Ethiopian who was the Prophet Muhammad's first convert, was also the man initiated Islam's call to prayer. In Warden Muhammad's worldview, misnomer Black American converts to Islam were, in essence, issuing a call to prayer to other American misnomer blacks to return to their West African Islamic roots, much as Bilal issued the call for all Muslims hundreds of years ago. For such inspired and creative, if somewhat convoluted logic, I say we reward Warden Muhammad for 1 month. In September, the official designation would be Nubian, a term preferred by some misnomer Black nationalists in memory of the Black state of an ancient Egypt's southern boundary that competed with Egypt for regional homogeny. And then they say October, Ethiopian. You see? And even in, and I like to make this statement, even in the 1599 Geneva Bible. See, and that, oh man, I'm glad we're here. I'm glad I didn't finish because, okay, so the Great Bible. So the 15, they used the 15 Geneva Bible to try to convert to English. But if they did it if they wanted to do it the right way and keep you knowledgeable, and when you read the Bible, you will have some questions why they took Blackamoor out of there. Because all in the Bible, in the 1599 Bible, it calls you a blackamoor. A blackamoor. Black is just describing the you of the Moor. Ask yourself that question. November, Cushite. Cush and Nubia refer to the same country of ancient Egypt's southern borders. This term included only as a nitpick insurance for the nitpickers who are sure to mourn if it's not included. December, Sudanese. Hey, why not? Virtually every misnomer Black American has ancestors who live in the region of Western Africa, known as the Western Sudan. So even them, they telling you, when they say you're not just Africa, they being specific. This is what I'll be telling you. Africa is a continent. So then even in this, when they being sarcastic, it's still dropping a tittle or something to make you say, huh? Wait a minute. You can pull stuff out of this. It's truth and falsehood strangely mixed. Western Sudan. If you as Blacks want a term that defines their geographical and cultural heritage, Sudan should do as well as any other. Then he say Kunta Kinte, roots fame, was a Mandingo, one of prominent ethnic groups of West Sudan. So let's talk about that. Kunta Kinte. Alex Haley plagiarized Kunta Kinte. Kunta Kinte comes from a European named Harold Colander. Harold Colander wrote a book named The African. It's all pseudo to tell you that back to Africa stuff. Him and the European, no disrespect, that wrote Behold the Pale Horse, and every Black person think that's so heavy. When I say you don't even understand the secret treaty of Verona. You don't even have no real clue of what it is. And people say, have you read the secret treaty of Verona? What do it really mean? Nothing. You don't really know. I guarantee you, a person will be mad. Well. I said, see, that's what you get for not having a real eye. Because Kunta Kinte ain't even real. You see? All made up. In fact, one historian has claimed that some words from an ethnic group of Western Sudan. In fact, one historian has claimed that some words from an Indian tribe on Maryland's eastern shore were found not to be Indian at all, but pure Mandingo. Now, it could be, but it ain't no Kunta Kinte. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying ain't no Mandingo, but Kunta Kinte wasn't one. Yeah, how can a Kunta Kinte be a Mandingo and Kunta Kinte made up? Come on, y'all. Islam family.
Islam.
Come on. I give gratitude for everybody taking time out their day, listening to little old me and having our 2 cents in this and illuminate things, for we won't be afraid and spreading falseness, because that's what a lot of things are do. I mean, that's what a lot of social media can do. But then it's another law protecting us, and it's the copyright law, meaning we can talk about things, the educational and all this. Can't get mad at that. You put it out there, that means it's for debate. It's for scholarship. It's for educational purpose. We can do that. You can't get mad. You put it out there, then we've taken it as scholars and as educators and telling you that's all hogwash. That's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you it's all hogwash.
Islam. And she was too passionate to not get a response.
Huh?
I said she was too passionate to not get a response.
Yes. And I knew it got to be something, because that's like for me, like how we was talking, I get when you cut the responses off, like if you have Instagram, if you have your YouTube pages, because trolls are trolls. But when you live, people could come on here. If they say something crazy, then I have to block them. On my TikTok, I ain't blocking nobody. When nobody say, if they say something crazy, I'll block them. But when you come out like that, it's passionate and crazy, with the statements you saying, and then not to have no comments on that, where it's a few comments, and then I say those got to be generated, because if a few comments, can't nobody say that's the truth, and woo, woo, woo. That ain't no truth. That's why I be saying we be so easily caught up with trash, and a whole bunch of people fall with the rapture. And then I just broke this down, and how can you still roll with that? Even if that was my friend, and I'm a truth seeker like she is, and I'm rocking with her, I say, you know what, you wrong. Now, and you can be sincerely wrong, but you need to go back and correct that. Well, no, I ain't. I'm passionate about it. Well, that's because you're passionate about something, don't make it factual. Like Noble Dante said, she was like, so what? How passionate a person is about some stuff that they are lie. Now, either you that it ain't no way I can explain that. That's why I said it's dangerous. You know what I mean? It's dangerous for that. You know, but that's what social media does. And like I said, yeah, a lot of times when you have a social media page, so many people are going to come just to say anything. And of course, you don't want to have all that disrespectful stuff. But hell, on little TikTok things, I want people to respond. I want people to say something. I'm not here to convert no one. I'm saying, have you seen this? Have you seen this? So if we're talking about some law, you can't arbitrarily explain the law. We can get any referee that's unbiased from what we're saying, and they'll tell both parties to come with the facts. And we'll come all with the facts, and we can rest our case, and it will be no rebuttal. We'll go first, and I guarantee you she wouldn't even go. The judge would be like, I hope you please. If I was a referee, I'd be like, I really don't think you should go. Why? Because I'm telling you, it's nothing that you can say, nothing that you could come up with that's going to be factual. It's going to be all arbitrary. It's going to be all belief system. You're going to say you think and how you feel, and that has no standing in law. I would try to even save that person. I say, like what, like why? Like we're trying to save you. Like you want to defend a lie? I'm not gonna waste my time, and you don't waste your people's time. Why? You lost. Why? Because you didn't do your due diligence. And this is what I'm telling you. You didn't do your due diligence. So if you didn't do your due diligence, you lose. This is all your brother saying, and no one should feel no type of way what we're saying. You should feel liberated and feel good. Be like, that's fact, that's fact, that's fact. This is scary. Yes, it is. And it's out there for people and saving that stuff and they're promulgating that stuff. That's why I said that black stuff, when people standing on that stuff and got people talking this black and then say they so smart pertaining to law, you can't be that smart. I love everybody on here, man. So with nobody don't have nothing to say or add in, I give you all gratitude once again. Like I said, our doors are open to come to class and learn. But man, all I can say is wow, family. That's all I can say. When Noble sent that to me, I was like, man, huh? And then I looked at the case. I'm like, well, what? Like, how are you going to explain this? And then you're talking about the 14th Amendment. Then you're talking about the Dred Scott law and all this. I said, man, I don't care how you trying to explain it. I don't care how you trying to explain it. I broke down the 14th Amendment. You still lose. How you want me to explain it another way? How many ways you want me to explain it to you to lose? It's checkmate all over the board. It's like double jump, triple jump, backwards jump, jump, and you still fighting. Ain't that crazy?
Islam, and to not have your comments on, like you were saying earlier, you have to already know maybe that what you're saying is obviously false, and you don't want to, have that conversation. So that's a viral moment gone wrong.
Yeah, but like we say, the average person, which we call like the uninitiated, they'll take that and run with it, because it's out there. It's out there. They'll take that and run with it, and it'll be repeated. Why? Because some people already was like, if they're not real, and I even looked at it. You know what I mean? You can look up stuff, and I'm like, if these people real, that they just as crazy. That's why I said this stuff is dangerous. And these laws is right in our face to have this discussion and talk about the 13th, the 14th, the 15th Amendment pertaining to misnomer black people, like she said, to misnomer black people. Okay, well, let's deal with it, because we're dealing with it in this specific context. Let's deal with it. You lost. And anybody rolling with that stuff, they need to have a seat. That's why I be saying, like, it don't matter if it's coming from a woman or a man. You wrong. Now, if it's AI, I don't know. If it's AI generated, I don't know. If it's real and that's a real person, that's even scary. But the prophet already warned us about this. The prophet already warned us about this. This stuff go both ways, y'all. It go the same way with the so-called Negro Moors with these ideas, talk about some travel ID. They the same. They ain't nothing but sovereign citizens. It go both ways. The lack of understanding who you are, all this stuff, all this pendulum swing, so many ways from a lack of understanding. When I say, and they both will be locked up together. This is what I'm saying as I close today. You can see this from a bird's eye view. and feel free to say both parties crazy, especially those type that's on that side. I like I said, my heart is with you, but if you have eyes to see and ears to hear, you will accept this and have something to compare to. Because if you're down with reparations, you cannot be down with no 14th Amendment. There's no way. If you're down with reparations, you cannot be down with no words that pertain to your ethnicity as Black. You cannot. You cannot say those two in the same frame of your identity, your ethnicity, or whatever you want to say it is. You done. You civil mortis. And these are just facts. And so gratitude once again, Noble Alonzo, Noble Dantes, Dre Sean, Moso, Brian, and Noble Alonzo for sending this text stream out, man. And there's gratitude, but this stuff needs to be shared. We got social media, we using it right. And we love everybody. And I hope everybody come here to learn. So peace and love.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Peace. We out of here.
Yeah,
Take us out.
I can close with our Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Aya Asha'aya. Shalom Alakim. Al-Rahman, Al-Rahim. Al-Haq, Ya Muhammad. Islam. Peace, 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 peace.
Peace, peace.
Peace.
Levels, gratitude.
Peace and love, family. Gratitude and love.
Gratitude.
I'm a spirit speaking, truth seeking, heart reaching, knowledge leaking, seeds sowing, harvest reaping, man of meager means. I have yet to leave, I'm still breathing. To quit, I have no reason. I mean, I'm asleep, but I be trying to live my dream. I cannot even act if it's all easy. Either you gon' do it or you don't. Really, it ain't no in between. Baby, you can ask the sun, it's an everyday thing. Consistency in your routine is how you bring reality. Working like a slave, that's how I made this masterpiece. Living like a god, I lay at night, I rest in peace. They